Hello, welcome back. At this point, we are going to talk about a very important aspect of our work, which is dimensioning. Okay, this is very, very important in all the works that we do. Without it, annotation will be incomplete. Okay, so we're going to take critical notice of that, then we deal with it appropriately. So for us to dimension, let's free ourselves some space here. Okay, so let's pick these things up and then hide them. Okay, so we've hidden the section lines that we have here. So first dimension, just let's come in here and then pick up the align dimension. So to dimension, all you need to do is to come to annotate. You click on annotate and then aligned dimension. Okay, it is asking us to save. If you pick the align dimension, this is where you have to pay particular attention to. At the option bar, which comes only when something is selected. Let's say, let's go back here. If you come to annotate and then select the align dimension, then at the option bar, you have these options popping up. See, you have few things here to select. We have the wall face, the wall center line, center core, and then faces of core. These are the options that you have to choose during your dimensioning. When you come in here, you have two options to pick. You have to pay particular attention to. We have the individual reference, and then we have the entire walls. And then when you click here, which only comes when the entire wall is selected, is the options. This options comes only when the entire wall is selected. When it's individual reference, see that it goes blank. So now let's start our dimensioning. This is how we dimension our work. Come to annotate, click on the align dimension. Just click on the line you want to dimension. The next one, and then that's all. See, it's continuous by default. Okay, so this is how it is done. If you want to dimension a wall, you click on this, click on that, and then click somewhere on the outside of the element you're selecting, the outside space, and the dimensions. You want to dimension this room, just click on it, click here, and then it's done. But this is what you should know. It's becoming easy for me to dimension the wall faces because at this tab, the wall face is what is selected. So you see, wall face, just easy like that, and I'm done. Now, if it is at the wall center line, which is most of the time the default one, when I come in here, you see that it will snap to the center of the wall. It will snap to the center of the wall, and that is where the first challenge is. So now, if you want to click on the face of the wall and dimension, you'll be met with a lot of restrictions. So what you have to do is that just bring your arrow to the front of the wall and press the tab key, tab, and then it's selected. Press on the tab key, tab, and then it's selected. Okay, and the tab key is on the keyboard. Okay, so you click on it, you come close to the wall, press the tab key, tab, you select it, press the tab key on the keyboard, tab, and then you select it. Okay, so that is how you try to snap to the face of the wall when wall center line is selected. Okay, so then what that simply means is that if you want to dimension a wall, don't waste your time keeping it at the wall center line. Just come to wall faces, then it will snap to the face of the wall. Okay, to snap to the face of the wall, and then you will not have any difficulty as we move on. Okay, so to recap it, if you want the center of the wall, all you need to do is to click on the wall center line, and then that will help you dimension from center of the wall to the next center easily. Okay, so these are the things that you must take note of. Okay, so now having this in mind, we now want to come back and then do our dimensioning with ease. Now, let me select these things all. So what I did was that I clicked on one, came to select all instances visible in view, and then they are all selected. So I click on delete and they are gone. Now, this is what we do. We want to dimension this floor plan. Okay, so as usual, as we've learned, you go to annotate, align dimension, and then we come straight to dimension the wall. So, but this is the trick here. Let me show you the easiest way now so that you dimension quickly and then easily. Now, we want to make our first dimension the dimension for the grid lines. Revit has put into the system very easy way to get some of these things done. So let's take advantage of that. We want to dimension the grid lines. This is what you do. Just come straight to the wall center line. When it comes to pick, just pick the entire walls. Then the option tab here will be active. Choose intersecting grid. Make sure all other things are checked out. Come here and just select the wall, and your grids are all dimensioned automatically. Let's try another one too. So now we want to dimension, we want to do overall dimension. If you want to do overall dimension, then you can pick the wall face and then choose individual reference. Remember, so the individual reference, it means you want to pick the point yourself and then have its dimension. So usually that one should be the overall, but let's keep it here. Okay, let's keep it here. The next thing here now is to dimension the individual walls we have. So the wall faces, yes. Then we come to entire walls. Now choose intersecting walls and make sure the intersecting grid is unchecked. Come in here to select the wall, and all the walls are selected automatically. But check something. You see that as you move the arrow, it snaps to a certain point. We call that the snap distance. I will explain that to you in the dimension editor when we get in there. Now we want to dimension also the windows or the openings. So we use the same principle, just that we come to options and then choose openings. Okay, uncheck the intersecting walls and make sure the openings are dimensioned from the width and not the center. We click OK, pick on this, and then automatically you have it here. Okay, so we have to repeat same to all the sides. Okay, so let's do this second side as a revision, and then the rest of it we will leave it up there for you to do it. So we come in here, annotate again, dimension, then wall faces. Okay, so we want to do the grid line. So what do? Just choose wall center line. We come to the options, make sure intersecting grid is checked. You click OK. You select the wall. You see that these walls are not one with this. Okay, so when that happens, you may come back after picking the first one to come and select the next wall. But see, there's no visible wall here. The wall is a substructure wall, so you won't be able to get it. So in this case, you can decide to let it be where it is. So come in here and then click on the last part, and then you have your grid dimensioned. Now there are other things here which are not supposed to have been picked, and when that happens, you can click on the dimension, come to edit witness line, and then just click on the next one that you don't want to select. You can pick this. Okay, zoom closer, the nodes are there. You can move this and push it up to touch it, the next one. Okay, so now it is kept as 1. So this figure here is 0. We can take it off. So that is how the dimensions are done. Okay, or another way too is to just come and pick it individually. Okay, if it is individual reference, wall center line, individual reference, you come in here, dimension. You can even dimension the grids. Okay, so it is not all the time compulsory for you to pick or use the entire wall method. You can combine them. Okay, I'm just nudging it with my arrow key on the keyboard, and then I have it here. So now the next thing, I want to dimension my walls. Okay, so all I need to do is to click on wall faces, entire walls, come to options, and I say intersecting walls, uncheck it up, come in here, and then the same thing as we have here. We can have this challenge. Let me see. Okay, it has snapped. We pick this object here, and then what we want to dimension, we dimension it. If we want to dimension the column, we get it done. Okay, and then that ends it up. Then the next thing we have here is our openings. We come in here to align dimension, and then just as usual, you come into openings, uncheck the intersecting walls, pick this, and then we don't have any opening here, so we can decide to pick the faces of the column as our opening. Yeah, so you snap to place it there, and then off you go. Okay, so you see these dimensions have been overly stretched, so I'm using my arrow key selected, or using the arrow key so that it will get closer to the plan, and then I can also move this a bit to save us some space when we are placing them on the sheets. The same ought to go for the right side of the building and then front of the building too as well. So you do that and then we will have a complete plan. Okay, so we repeat the process and then we now see that all the sides of the building is now dimensioned. Okay, so we'll come back in the next video to try to edit the various dimensions that you have, because if you look here you can see that you have part of this dimension extension line hitting into the plan. We call it witness line. Okay, and then if there are some further adjustments we can do to the tick and some other few things, we'll also take care of that. Okay, so thank you so much. We'll come back in the next video to work on how to edit the dimension that we have. Thanks.
Please click here to like this video. Your comments are welcome. Subscribe to get new videos.